A black woman was caught stealing in a Victoria's Secret mall in Alabama, and because that black woman who was caught stealing, the manager decided to kick out the remaining black people in the Victoria's Secret. This is terrible. There's 3 other women, I believe, or 2 other women in the Victoria's Secret. We have a Facebook Live video from Kimberly Hausa. She was there shopping, minding her own business, had no affiliation with this other girl that got caught stealing. And watch her Facebook Live.
You're kidding me. I already didn't need to be spending the money. Didn't need to be spending it. But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to treat myself, whatever. And I got to come down here and deal with this BS. I can buy anything in that store I want. Why I got to be put out? Because I just happen to be black in Victoria's Secret and another black girl. But the thing is, me and the other black girl, we didn't even come in the store together. We just happen to be in at the same time.
Wow. That is some bullshit.
Yeah, it's such bullshit.
That's crazy.
That's the boldest display of unapologetic racism I've seen
Yes.
in a while. Like that's crazy that that the managers were just openly kicking out the black customers.
It
the
was
2 other
one
black
manager,
women.
yes, one manager.
One
Faith.
manager.
It was Faith. Her name was Faith.
So okay, again, audience, I always try to be 2 sides to the story, right? Okay, so when you work I work in retail, and when there's theft in retail, normally it's in pairs. And it's so wrong to say there's one person to distract the workers and another person to enact the theft or case the joint to make sure they can get this stuff and be out. So as a manager in retail, your job is to protect company loss and protect company assets. So I thought, okay, maybe first of all, I'm not condoning or agreeing or saying
You're
that.
just trying to see the other side.
Exactly. So probably what this manager did that wasn't the sharpest bulb and
Yes.
The brightest bulb in the back.
Yeah, right. Yeah. She probably thought, she freaked out.
She definitely was the whitest bulb.
Probably was just like, I don't know. They're probably all affiliated because again, people think all black people roll in gangs and look the same. And so she said, let me just alleviate the problem the best way I know how by kicking everyone out, which is so wrong. But I mean, it was probably ill training on the manager's part, which does not condone what she did. I do feel
She made false assumptions based on skin color.
Absolutely, and that's happened to me before in Denver's airport. Guy was stealing newspapers. I was reading Men's Health magazine. The woman said, you might want to put this down because you know you are black and may look kind of suspect. And this was in 2013.
So who said that to you?
Wow.
Someone working there or just someone that was like...
The Asian woman who owned the newsstand at the Denver airport.
Wow.
So it still happens. I mean, it still happens. And
So I have a question for you, Jason,
Yes.
just as a follow-up. What is the correct protocol in a situation where you believe that there's shoplifting occurring? Like, what are
Can I
people
guess
trained
before we get the answer?
to do?
Don't
How
be
should you-
racist.
Right.
That's my
but
guess.
you know what?
How do you respond if you're like, oh shit, I'm being shoplifted? My training tells me that usually that happens in pairs.
You can't just make blind judgments. You say, okay, I'm going to deal with the person that's caught. I'm going to investigate them. I'm going to call the security. I used to work in retail too.
Right.
And you're going to question that person.
Exactly.
You
So
you
can't
deal
just
with the
blindly
one-
assume other people there are part of their posse and then think, oh,
Exactly.
they're black. Let's get them out too.
Kimberly said when she was back in her car, she said if the woman at Victoria's Secret had asked to look in my bag as well as the bags of everyone else at Victoria's Secret, but she actually just said if she looked in my bag as well as the other woman that got kicked out, it would be less terrible than just like y'all need to leave because
See,
you're
she was
all
giving
black.
her benefit of the doubt too, if that were to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
But at that point, she
ill
was like,
training.
it was a very real moment because it was a mix of like, this is ridiculous and almost hilarious. And then there was a moment when she got back to her car where she was just overcome with emotion, where she just was like, oh my God, it really does make me furious
It's like,
and
fuck,
sad.
like I wish we could all be there to see what happened because this is all speculation and we don't know what happened. But I feel like for the manager, it was just ill training on her part because we don't know if this manager was a 24-year-old kid who was recently. I mean, a lot of the people that work at Victoria's Secret, at least the ones I go into, are young and millennials, and not hating on millennials, but they're maybe inexperienced. So she could have been scared. She could have been like all these things that we just don't know what
I'm glad
happened.
you present the other argument. Now, the mall is investigating that. So perhaps the mall will investigate why that person made that decision. Maybe they'll come up with some other conclusions. But Victoria's Secret also made an announcement that they don't condone known that, and they
Yeah.
have since let this manager go.
Faith no more.
Faith no more.
Faith no more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, I work for a Fortune 500 company that is super
So
big.
how would they have handled it? Sorry
I'll
to
get
answer-
back to
yeah.
Grace's question. Well, a situation that happened last week. You pinpoint who the perp is, and then you call the authorities and handle it that way. You never ever like assume
No
that.
assumptions.
Right. And again, the reason why she probably thought that is because when you're stealing, normally people who steal from retail environments such as AT&T, T-Mobile, Victoria's Secrets, they work in pairs, and that's what we've come to find out with research and just over time. So. Yeah, but you zoom in, you zoom in and hone in on the person who's committing the crime, and then that's it. You try to minimize a spectacle. You try to keep it BAU, business as usual.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Wow. All right. Please share your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you next time on Pop Sugar.